This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm Brian. I'm 43 years old, and I live in Miami, Oklahoma. So I was a funeral director. Some people call it morticians, undertakers. What I did was direct funerals and help families. I built this myself in 2011.
Brian was intelligent, successful, a good father, but Brian has nothing now.
I am an alcoholic. I'll drink vodka, whiskey, Bacardi. I mean, I do beer, but I like the quickness of hard liquor.
Brian used to stash bottles everywhere. They were all over the funeral home. They were all over the house that we lived in. Everywhere I looked, there were bottles.
It makes me feel better.
It breaks my heart to see Brian like this, and I've told him this over and over. He's going to die. I've seen him get so sick that he had violent seizures, but nothing stops him, nothing.
Actually, I don't stumble like that very often.
When Brian is drinking, he is cocky and arrogant and patronizing. He's not a mean drunk, per se. He never, ever hit me, ever, or the kids.
What happened, Brian? Just go off the bed. That's fine.
He stumbles around and cuts himself. I think probably about 5 times he's fallen and cutting himself right here in the middle of his forehead.
Ruh-roh.
I love the 3-drink Brian. I love that mentality. And the problem is I can't stop there. I just need a little bump. I was wondering where this was.
Sometimes I think about, the old Brian and how I want to pick him up in my arms and hold him and say, everything's going to be okay. But we're past that, and I can't. None of us ever dreamed that Brian would ever be in this position. Never. Brian was beautiful when he was born. He had big brown eyes, a lot of black hair, sweet little boy, very quiet.
I had a good childhood. I grew up on the farm. Big cattle ranch, tractor dealership. I mean, I came from family of means.
It was just a typical, kid growing up. He had 2 parents that adored him.
My dad worked all the time. He was an alcoholic.
When Brian was growing up, I don't think his parents got along well.
There's one memory that stands out. He hit her so many times on the side of the head that she couldn't hear out of her left ear for like 4 days.
By the time I left, he was drinking way too much.
My parents got a divorce when I was 7.
We moved into an apartment, and he had been used to acres and acres of land to play on. He still saw his dad on weekends, and they did things together then, but it was difficult for him.
I was like a second mom to Brian. He stayed with me a lot. I'd take him to school or whatever he needed to do, help him with his homework.
When I first met Brian, we were in high school, and he was a really nice, fun, intelligent guy.
Karen is beautiful. She was beautiful then. She was sweet and innocent.
Karen's dad is a Baptist minister, and Brian went through Bible study just so he and Karen could see each other. They just loved each other a lot from the beginning.
We dated for 3.5 years before we got married. He was a great guy. We got along well, and it was just kind of a normal deal.
When Karen and I got married, I was in college.
Brian went to OCU in Oklahoma City, and he majored in mortuary science.
The reason why I wanted to be a funeral director was because of my stepdad. He was the funeral director, and he asked me to help him a couple times on the funeral. I was 16 years old at the time. You have to have I won't say gift for it. You have the calmness, you have the patience, communicating with families, and I just had a knack for it.
When Brian was in college, he started an apprenticeship with a funeral home in the area.
I heard the blast. Of course, at the time, I didn't know what it was, but I heard the blast.
Brian was about 21 when the bombing happened, and we were all in shock.
Brian's role in the Oklahoma City bombing and the aftermath of all that was as an apprentice funeral director, and he went down to the site and helped them remove the bodies that they had pulled out of the rubble there.
Brian had to embalm many, many people, find body parts that matched.
On the front page of Life magazine, is a picture of a firefighter holding a baby. That picture out, and I held that baby, and I was with that mom. I held that baby, and I had the mom come in, and I held that baby.
It was a rough time for everyone. Brian hasn't talked about it that much. He really resents people who do because he feels like that they're getting attention for themselves.
He came home and we worried a lot about him having to do that kind of work, but he said he felt so honored to have been chosen to help with that. Brian was proud of himself and we were proud of him. Brian was an excellent funeral director. He was just a local boy that people truly felt that he was part of their family.
And then after a couple of years, he was promoted to general manager over 3 locations, and we were very comfortable at that time.
Brian and Karen appeared to be a very happy couple.
When Holden was born, Brian was doing pretty good. He'd be home, help around the house, and things were pretty good then.
And after he had been out of school, maybe for about 10 years, he decided he wanted to try to open up his own funeral home.
And that was about the time that Brian started drinking and started having a lot of issues there at work. He began to drink more often than just socially and started drinking at home also. He started drinking at a buddy's house. So he would go from work directly to his friend's house and drink there until late at night.
I was noticing that Brian was drinking. I called him one day and I said something to him about it. He said, "I'm fine. I'm not going to be like my dad."
Very quickly, he became addicted, and it was also a coping mechanism for him when things would go wrong or to deal with stress. I think a lot of it was to deal with stress of all the demands from that job.
I have never met a funeral director that doesn't drink, ever. It's a rewarding job, but it's a sad job.
When I had my second child, Avery, Brian was drinking a lot then, and he was gone a lot then. The night that I went into labor, I tried to wake him up and he was passed out cold. There was no way he was getting up. I ended up driving myself to the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Karen gave him the ultimatum, you go to a rehab. I'm not living like this anymore.
Brian lives with his mother, or I want to say he stays with his mother. He doesn't actually live anywhere.
Go get ready.
I will.
My dad was an alcoholic, and this is not nice, but I'm going to say it. I think my mom would make most people be an alcoholic.
Right now, Brian is doing construction work. He'll work 2 weeks and then he'll be off 2 weeks. And the way it's going now, he works for 2 weeks and then he's drunk for 2 weeks.
So why is this Hearst Park out here?
What difference does it make?
Well, bad memories of that funeral home?
Don't talk to me like that.
I'm not
You understand me?
talking to you like
Don't
that.
use the words. I don't know this Brian, and I don't want to know him because I don't like him. And what do you do now? Now you sit around and you drink.
Tell me what to do right now.
Go take a shower, number one.
Okay.
Oh, you're not going to do anything. I know what you're like. You're going to put it off until everybody forgets about it.
Oh, would you shut the up?
Don't talk to me like that. You use that word one more time, I'm going to slap your face. And it hurts so much to see my baby killing himself. And there's nothing I can do. You don't want to do anything that will take you away from your bottle. And you know that's true. But look at me, look at me.
What?
I'm through. I'm going to see my grandkids again. You're not going to keep them from me.
the grandkids. I guarantee you.
You
better get ready for this funeral. Because if
I told you not to use that word again. Bryony, I'm writing this letter to you because I want the opportunity to tell you again how I feel. You've slowly turned into someone that I don't even know anymore, and someone I don't want to know. From the loving, kind, respectful boy that I knew, my memories are now filled with broken promises, lies you steal from me. I sit up night after night after night and worry about you.
I remember when we opened the funeral home and we were so proud. But things have changed, and instead of kissing your children goodnight, they pray every night for you to get better. Now your children return home from visits with you, and they are heartbroken because you were drinking and couldn't spend time with them.
Will you get some help today?
Okay.
Yes?
I love you, Brian.
At 60 days, I feel healthier. On the physical side of it, I have more energy. Mentally, I feel clearer. And spiritually, I feel a lot stronger too. And with the combination of those three things, I'm looking forward to the future and what, is still yet to come. Being sober has definitely changed me. It's given me a new outlook on life. It's a more positive outlook. I'm realizing more what my life can be.
Dad.
Hey, guys.
I did miss my dad. Really missed him so that just makes me happy that I finally get to see him. I miss you. Yeah, I miss you too.